Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Force here, covering new PC releases for this week of September 30th to October the 6th. Now, I also want to let you guys know as we get things started that my sore throat from last week has developed into a full-blown sickness, so if I sound ill, it's because I am. Alright, let's go ahead and begin. On Monday, September the 30th, we saw early access open up for War of the Vikings. This is the follow-up to War of the Roses. It is a team-based action combat game where you're running around hacking and slashing, swinging and chopping, blocking, dodging, and also you've got some class-specific abilities. Now in this game you get to play as either the Vikings or the Saxons, and it is set in an authentic Viking universe. Now I first took a look at this game about a month ago, and I am going to get access to this game now that's available through Steam, and I'll probably be providing guys with some updates because I enjoyed War of the Roses and they're making some improvements here in War of the Vikings. You can buy yourself into the early access for $19.99. Now on to Tuesday, October the 1st, ArmA Tactics was released. This is a turn-based close combat strategy game that is set in the ArmA universe. In this game, you get to play as a 4-member team, and you have a variety of choices in terms of your play style. You can basically choose to go about your missions in a stealth manner or sort of an aggressive, over-the-top manner. Not too sure about this title. I've been hearing some people say it's sort of just like a cash-in sort of deal, but I'm not entirely sure. It is moderately priced at $8.99, and the gameplay and screenshots I've seen have looked okay, but not phenomenal. But again, that is currently available if you'd like to pick it up. Also on Tuesday, NBA 2K14, the 15th installment in 2K Sports Basketball Series. This one is featuring the king, the mighty LeBron James, and I actually read up that he picked the soundtrack, so I guess if you like LeBron James's taste in music, you're going to like the music here at NBA 2K14, which is available now for $29.99. Lastly, for Tuesday releases, Flashback, a HD update of the classic platform adventure game named Flashback that was originally from 1993. Now, this is a reimagining of the original, similar to what we saw last week with Shadow Warrior. What's very interesting about this one, though, is it's actually being developed by the team who made the original. So it's sort of like an authentic reimagination. It's not a reimagination from someone else's point of view. It's a reimagination from the people who originally worked on the game. That'll be available now for $9.99. Now on to Wednesday, October 2nd, we are seeing the release of Air Conflicts Vietnam, an arcade flight simulation game that is set during the Vietnam War. It tells the story from both sides, so you get to play as both sides of the war, and the game also features some airplane and helicopter customization, flight games and flight simulators at that. Really not my type of thing, but if you're looking for a new aerial combat game, this might be worth it, which is available for $29.99. And then lastly, for new releases this week, we've got a pair of games coming out on Thursday, October the 3rd, starting out with Agarest, Generations of War. This is actually a release of a game that originally launched in 2007 on the consoles and is now coming to PC. This is a strategy role-playing game that also includes a dating sim element. So combat-wise, in terms of the RPG portion of things, this works like a grid-based RPG combat system, but it's also got this generational thing where the game itself takes place across 5 generations of heroes, starting with your first character, and what you have to do is build relationships with the female members of your party, and then have children, and then you play as those children, and etc., etc. That sounds fine. The one thing that sort of turned me off is when I was looking up sort of promotional elements about this game, there were some really just like overly sexualized images that, it's fine. It's not that it makes me uncomfortable. It's just not what I come to video games for, especially since they look sort of younger, and it's a theme that's really prevalent with a lot of RPGs from the Eastern development world, but that's just not something for me personally. But if you're interested in Agarest Generations of War, it is available for $19.99. And then the last new release for this week is F1 2013, a Formula One racing game from the mighty Codemasters, so very well known for their racing titles. This will be following the 2013 Formula One season and will include all drivers, teams, as well as 19 worldwide events. This will be available for $49.99. And actually, I'm sorry, there is one more game. It's actually an early access title called Haunted Memories. This is a scary type of game. It's about crossing over into the dream world where you cannot leave, and the game combines elements of puzzle and action elements with also just being a game that's supposed to try to spook your pants off. And that'll do it for new releases for this week. Let's go ahead and wrap things up with my planned content. So of the games coming out this week, I have got interest in covering War of the Vikings, most definitely, and then potentially I may take a look at Haunted Memories. Now I've had some people sort of ask me, like, Force, where are all those checkout videos you used to do about 2 or 3 a week, and now it's looking at about 1 or 2 a week? Well, that's an actual and intentional decision. I sort of decided that I would prefer to cover less games more in depth with a multitude of videos, start off with a checkout and then do some follow-ups, then cover a lot more games in a more shallow manner. So that's a conscious decision, partly and due to the fact that the checkout series just doesn't do that well in terms of views. Mostly those videos get between 10 to 15,000, whereas other content of mine gets anywhere between 15 and 25,000 views. So for that reason, it's telling me that people aren't interested in me just covering everything shallowly, and that people would rather me cover things more in depth or have more discussion-oriented content, which seems to do very well here on the channel. So because that's what my viewership responds to, that's what I'm going to try to produce going forward. But yeah, I'll be covering probably 1 to 2 new games every week, but beyond that, I'm going to try to keep sort of a consistent basis in terms of my content. But anyways, yes, War of the Vikings and Haunted Memories is what I plan to potentially look at this week, as well as continuing up some Hearthstone coverage, the Force feed Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then Friday Night Magic coming up. And then anything I feel like talking about or showing you guys will also be here on the channel. All right, guys, that does it. Thanks for sticking through here with my sickly edition of the PC update and content update video. If you guys like the content, please be sure to subscribe. And as always, keep watching and keep owning.